Good evening, everyone. Welcome in to another episode of the Hog Talk podcast, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios. We are part of the Believe and Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us each week on 106.7 Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. Our live shows are presented to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I am Porter Hayes. Alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall, and tonight we welcome in a new head coach. We talk about the details, everything. Lane Kiffin, Arkansas Duke, we'll touch it all. So we'll just get right down to the nitty gritty. News broke this morning that potentially Alex Golesh was supposed to be the new head coach. And boy, within an hour, Alex Golesh was going to Auburn, and news broke that Ryan Silverfield is your new head coach at the University of Arkansas. And we're already seeing comments come in lackluster. I say I don't know what was more lackluster, the announcement or his landing in Fayetteville with nobody there to greet him. Adam, just what were your thoughts? You told me a little bit about it earlier, but, what was your thoughts when all of this one came to an end and then you found out it was Ryan Silverfield?
I have felt fairly defeated most of the day. And I don't mean for this to sound like a shot at Ryan Silverfield, because one thing I think we can all need to make clear is I'm not mad at Ryan Silverfield for taking this job. Ryan Silverfield hasn't put Arkansas in the position that they're in right now. I'm disappointed in the powers that be in Hunter Yurachek for this. I feel defeated because of them. So any ill will, animosity, whatever, none of it is directed towards Ryan Silverfield at all. But I feel like if we went into this kind of not overly hyped, but hyped about the possibility of Alex Golesh and what he brings to the table. I mean, we're posting some of his interviews, some of his clips, just so people can understand who he is and his philosophies and whatnot. And then to have, basically the rug pulled out from under us, and we'll get into the reports, the leaks and all that. But at the same time, it's just a defeating feeling. And it's, I feel like a lot of us had higher hopes. We just ended a 2-10 season, so we were already kind of numb and beat up. And so I felt like today was going to be a new start. But then here we are, the same kind of defeating feeling.
Mm-hmm. I felt betrayed. And I know that is a really loose term to be using in the world of college football, where you got a head coach making the college football playoffs and he leaves for another SEC school. Our players leave, but when we were promised NIL money, we were promised that we're going to take a leap of faith. We're going to be going to a new level of college football. We are going to be able to compete for a college football playoff. It just felt like when you see the reports of how much Silverfield is going to be making, $6.7 million a year, you see that you're in a total rebuild, and you hand this thing off to a guy who's only been a head coach at Memphis. I just lackluster is the thing, and I don't know if a lot of it had to do with because Golesh was put out there. Did they screw the pooch on the Golesh deal? Did Hunter Yurachek, not give a guy like Golesh what he wanted? Did we settle? Did we go cheap? All of those questions could be answered, because here's the thing. I know Trey Schapp is getting a lot of flack right now, but there was multiple people who were connected on every other hire we've had, and they were saying the same thing. So I don't know. Something happened between Wednesday and was it last night? But we had a whirlwind last night. I mean, you had Lane Kiffin holding the SEC hostage, because you look at the Alabama-Auburn game. Auburn doesn't fumble, and then they go to score. That thing goes in overtime. What is happening to Ole Miss or Auburn or Ole Miss going to the SEC championship next week? There's so much that was going on. And it was crazy. And then you wake up and it's like, I didn't even have coffee and it's already going from Golish is going to be the guy. And there was so many guys who were connected that are apologizing, and people that have been connected on multiple hires and firings in the past. Something happened. You don't have three people that we see on the inside coming out on at other schools or other hires and all three missed. That don't happen.
There's definitely something that happened, whether it was an offer that didn't want to be matched or whether it was the instability. Because, we heard the instability comments and questions like that started and came from James Franklin's camp. Who really knows at this point? I mean, there's going to be three sides to this story, their side, and then what really happened. So I don't think that we'll ever fully understand what happened. And then, this is no shot at the protest or whatever it was that happened. I think they said there was around 30 people or so that showed up. I don't know. Of course, there may have been more if there was more heads up with it. I think though that, that we've seen several comments in here. This right now, the fans are united on one thing right now, and that is that Hunter Yurachek needs to go. Mm-hmm. So I think that some of that anger and animosity and whatever it's going to be misconstrued as towards Silverfield, and it doesn't need to be, but we have to learn, whether it's our comments, whether it's our conversation, whatever, like, you got to separate the two. So, and this is right here. Can't wait to hear how Chuck and Bo spin this tomorrow.
Well, between them and, here's another thing. Hogs Plus has already put it out there. They're going to be filming his whole first day. Like, they're already chomping at the bit. They can't wait to, we got a week off from them. They took a vacation last week because of Thanksgiving and you didn't know what was going to happen. But I really want to bring this back up because the Bobby Petrino stuff again. Should have hired Bobby Petrino. If they would have at first had faith in him or said he is going to get the job, then maybe. But they ran its course with it. He didn't perform, and then they started looking elsewhere. You can't then now go back and say, Bobby, because all that is you're going to get a Lane Kiffin deal. He is going to come in. He is going to take this thing. He's going to leave you, and he's not going to want to coach. I mean, the guy, Saturday's game, I mean, the decision he made to start KJ and then throw a touchdown pass, then you bench him, that made no sense. You wait till the very last game to now on senior night start him over Taylon Green. There was a lot going on there. I don't know if it was the fact that he was bitter. Maybe so. Maybe he knew he was out and he didn't care, but you can't now go back and then bring him in. So, I mean, that right there, I get. Now you're going to see the chance of why did we do all of this stuff? Say, Bobby, that you're not going to be the head coach, and then you hire somebody that has less experience than Bobby Petrino does.
Well, and I mean, going to yesterday's game, just shifting gears slightly. Yeah. I didn't understand the thought process even after, Petrino tried explaining it and didn't really explain it in the presser. You start KJ Jackson. And like I told you in text messages, and I said in other messages, like, I don't care that it was Taylon Green's senior day. Whatever quarterback were to give us the best chance to win that game is who needed to start that, or who needed to play, who needed to start, whatever. So starting KJ Jackson, I thought that's what we were going to roll with. But then I think it was after the touchdown or two, whatever it was, you pull KJ and you put in Taylon. Then to start the second half, you play KJ 2 series and then you pull him again. Didn't understand it. But for him to come out in the press conference and say, well, that was the plan, so that's what we rolled with, that's what we're going to do, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here like I get it, but like that, I don't know. He doesn't owe us anything, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense. And I that was just weird to me. But here's the thing, going now back to this hire, it didn't matter who Arkansas brought in today, whether it was Alex Golish at noon, like it was originally put out there, Ryan Silverfield as it is now, Eric Morris flips from Oklahoma State to Arkansas, whatever the case may be. There's going to be people in the fan base that are unhappy. It doesn't matter who came into this job. They were going to be unhappy. They were going to be loud. Rightfully so. You're entitled to your opinion. So I think we all are on the same page that there's going to be a group of folks that are unhappy no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, there would probably be a group of folks that would be unhappy if Nick Saban walked through the door right now and said, let's go.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. This, again, is nothing on Ryan Silverfield. I hope nothing but the best. I wish nothing but the best. I just feel like this is a flop by Hunter Yurchek. And at the same time, like I told you and I told the guys on HQ this morning, like I am borderline to the point that I would rather cover SEC football and NCAA just as a whole than continue to cover Razorback football. And that's just because of this defeated feeling that I have because of Hunter Yurchek.
Mm-hmm. We ride with him. And this is going to be our only kind of not trash post, but really where we air out our frustrations, because in the long run, we're going to be dealing, with this guy. He's going to be the head coach. We got to support it. Because we want the best. But when it comes out that you gave him $5 million, $33 million, so 6.7 a year, you proved that you're not ready to compete in the SEC. If you're not willing, because there was negotiations, that you went cheap. And I'm sorry. Again, there's going to be a lot of, Ryan Silverfield is going to be the fall guy, and I do feel for him. I feel more sorry for him than Ole Miss fans, our fans, because he is completely coming to a situation that anybody would do if they were, offered the job at the right amount of money. He took it. But you went cheap. And you're sitting here saying we're going to get all this money. Do you have it now? Do you have the backing of the board of trustees and just everybody involved, the boosters? Everybody had their opinions. Everybody had their wants. If I'm going to give this money, this is who we need to go for. You have too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. And the fact that, if I'm even allowed to say that anymore, I don't know. But the fact is, you've got a lot of people that want a say in these things. Did that have a part in it? I want this guy. Well, if I don't get this guy, I'm not giving my money. Instead of coming together as one front and putting up $8 to $10 million a year for a coach, because we are at the big boy table. We talked about that last week. Do you want to be at the big boy table? This right here proves that either one, you're going to use Silverfield to get us out of the basement, to get us where you wanted Sam Pittman to be, but you better keep it there. You can't let him get us back in the basement. If you see, and this has to be a short leash. This has to be like a relief pitcher or a starting pitcher that's starting to lose control of the game. If he starts losing control of this program, you can't give him an extra year to put this thing back in the basement. You can't do it anymore. You have to pull the trigger quicker because things are more important now. You got to let him pass the torch to somebody who can handle it and take it from the middle of the pack or lower tier up to where you want it to be. And we said that might be a deal. Either you're going to go for a home run where you think you could trust in the guy. I really think Golish could have come in and turned this thing around. And guess what? We're going to probably watch Auburn do that.
Well, this, what does Golish have that Silverfield doesn't? Honest question. It's one of those. Yes, I know Ryan Silverfield is 3-0 against Golish. I know that. We all know that. I am just purely going off of what I've seen, whether it's been interviews. I've watched and listened more about Golish's recruiting philosophies and their player evaluations, and maybe it's one of those things that it's all just lip service. I mean, we're sitting there watching them, in a sit down interview. There's nothing that I've really heard from Silverfield on that, and maybe I haven't looked in the right places. I don't know. And I know that we're there's folks putting out today, all of the good and the bad with Silverfield and his resume, and people were doing the same thing to Golish.
Mhm.
So it's just it's my just initial gut reaction opinion that I would have preferred Golish. I feel like there was more of an upside with Golish. And I get that they're both in their first head coaching positions with their previous schools, Memphis and South Florida. But there was just something about Golish, listening to him talk, watching those games, and the fire that he had or seemed to have on the sidelines, that I liked it. I liked the saltiness between, him and Tom Herman. I like the little, just chip on his shoulder that he seemed to have. And like I said, it's nothing against Ryan Silverfield. It's just my choice out of the two. I mean, like I've said from day one, I would have rather had Lane Kiffin before, Sam Pittman, but we saw how that went. But here's the thing too with that, and I know I go back to that, and a lot of my liking of Lane Kiffin just comes from both of us being petty individuals. But at the same time, I think we all know if Lane Kiffin had came here instead of Sam Pittman, he wouldn't be here right now. So we would have been in this same boat 2 to 3 years ago when he would have left before. So, like we've said, everybody is going to be, or not everybody, the folks are going to be unhappy one way or another. Doesn't matter who we would have gotten, whether it was Eric Morris. I think a lot of folks maybe, and people can tell me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will. I think that some folks are probably kind of that disappointed, defeating feeling because they had it in their head who was going to be our coach. Then it didn't happen. It was somebody else. And it makes Arkansas look even more like embarrassed. Like it's embarrassing that it was like, hey, this is going to be our guy. And then what did we say on the last show? The most Arkansas thing that could happen would be for Alex Golish to not be here today.
You fumbled it on the final drive. You had the win. You had it, and you fumbled it. I mean, that again, you lost a 1-score game to Auburn. That's what happened. Jennifer, to answer your question on my side of it, Golish has SEC experience. He was an OC at Tennessee. I mean, that's a big thing. He knows what SEC ball is. Memphis don't. American don't. I mean, yes, they have a tough conference, but the thing is, and you can move on and you can bring up other comments, but we know how important this hire is, and we've stated it a couple of times of non-SEC game schedule. You're in the basement. You are the worst program in the SEC right now. You don't just want somebody who just wants the job. That is Sam Pittman-esque hire. That is a Chad Morris-esque hire. You can't just bring somebody in here who just wants the job or they're happy to be here. You got to come have somebody who is ready to come in and take over this program. And that's where, of course, I think a lot of it is, you're right. We had our mindset on, we thought that Golish was the hire and we didn't want to be wrong. There's a lot of people out there, but do I think that there wasn't something on the inside that happened? Absolutely. I think either you fumbled the bag or you didn't want to give up the bag.
And this right here, press conference pushed to Thursday. We need to know there's financial support. We need to hear about, so obviously we don't know.
Hunter's got to do his Tuesday spot. That's the thing. That's another thing that pisses me off. Mm-hmm. They're moving it back so Hunter can do, and that's the thing. It's like he's going off and doing this when he went and picked him up in his damn truck. Like, if you see him getting off the plane to nobody, and then he's shaking the hands of a little boy or a little kid, and then Hunter's in the truck, go Hogs. Like, this whole day was underwhelming. Mm-hmm. And now he's going to go off and do his thing on Tuesday night, probably fumble that again. And then we're going to have this whole thing on Thursday. Ridiculous.
Oh, I got, this
6, 7.
He's never going to live that down.
No.
Anyway, but, and that's the thing too. Like, we don't know coordinators yet. We're not going to know coordinators yet. We know the contract details. All we can go off on financial support. I mean, Hunter is the one that put out that they're going to have the financial support, the financial backing. We've talked about it on a couple of shows here, what kind of the initial plans that we're hearing are for NIL. But at this point, it's all just hearsay. Until something is actually put in motion for us to look at, it's all just hearsay. So right now they are saying that there will be financial backing, there will be financial support with no details whatsoever. So, yes, we all want the answers right now because we live in such an instant gratification world, but we're not going to get it. And we're not going to get much information between now and Thursday besides what reports people decide to put out. I mean, and even at that presser, I mean, I highly doubt that unless it gives Ryan Silverfield enough times between now and Thursday to make those hires or say who he's going to bring in. We're not going to know Thursday who our next coordinator is going to be. I mean, they've already said, and this was reporting from your BFF Otis Kirk earlier today, but that Silverfield's going to be trying to flip the in-state kids that are committed to Power 4 schools. More power to you.
With that, yeah,
go for it. I mean, I think I looked up. I mean, there's out of the top 20, I think 5 are committed to Power 4 schools. Outside of Arkansas, 5. There's 5 others. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he even wants Kane Archer, if he flips Kane Archer, or I mean, there's plenty of players here if that's what you want to do. At the same time, I mean, maybe he'll inform those kids of who his coordinator is going to be.
Yeah,
who knows?
Well, and that could be a plus. And this is where if we go to accepting, okay, he's making 6.7 a year, crazy how I just kind of threw that the whole 6-7 deal come back on the contract. I mean, maybe there's a reason, but but no, seriously, the coordinator stuff. If they know that, all right, we're really, because everybody's frustrated. Once we take I'm sure our mood on Thursday when we come back and talk to you after press conference and stuff, we might kind of be able to take a step back and really look at this from a bird's eye view. But you get the coordinators their money, and you really know, okay, he's going to be the head coach. But I'm telling you, looking at his stats and looking at what he did at Memphis, he better hire a good defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at their defensive, I mean, they gave up 420 yards of offense, 360. You're giving up average 250 through the air, and you're getting averaged 130 yards rushing on you. If you're going to do anything, because this year was a proven, it don't give a damn what you do on offense. You better have that defense. And he was averaging 420, 440, 450 yards offense. So 230, let's say 260. I'm going off the past 3 years, 260 through the air, and you're averaging 170 on the ground. So, I mean, that's decent. But when I look at the defense and I'm looking at what you're giving up rushing, passing, I mean, everybody's going to be throwing over if you're not averaging over 250, unless you're Missouri and you went and, Arkansas played the 1924 Notre Dame team yesterday and they passed the ball 5 times and still whooped you, but you're giving up 133 yards per game rushing in the American Conference. I mean, that's kind of alarming. So you need to go. So maybe they're all right. We're going to go with this guy and we're going to invest in our coordinators as well. And I've kind of preached that for years. If you're going to build a team, you got to build a staff. You can't just bring in your head coach and then go mediocre on your coordinators. Hopefully that's what I'm hoping for when I see that he's getting under $7 million a year. But then you got to have NIL. It is Hunter Yurachek promising, or whoever did this hire promising, look, you start us out first 5 years. Let's revisit this in 3 if you get us to a bowl game or get us to 8 wins or whatever. Then we can talk about a pay raise, but we need to get you in here. We need to get you in here. We got to give you under 7 because that's all we can afford right now. Let's build this program and then we'll renegotiate your deal.
Why would that be all we could afford right now, though? I mean, after everything we've been hearing about, I know I get it, but I mean, because granted, things are rumors and people are giving false information. But if just a few weeks ago you were discussing the real possibility to be paying James Franklin $10 to $12 million per year, and now all of a sudden you couldn't pay $7 million. I mean, it's just kind of, And maybe that just comes from you had a John Tyson or somebody that would put part of the bill. Strong possibility in this day and age. But I just don't believe a lot of what we get told, I guess. So, and like I've mentioned too, let's see what sideline Bobby Petrino ends up on. It's not going to be a head coach unless maybe he ends up at Memphis as the head coach or USF as the head coach. I think that he's going to be an offensive coordinator in the SEC. And then, today was definitely musical chairs for the SEC. I mean, I think out of everything today that happened, I know some will say that Florida won. I think LSU won in this whole ordeal. I think that LSU is once again going to be a powerhouse, like it or not. And it's one of those things that Ole Miss, you kind of have to look at and say, like, I kind of questioned them hiring their defensive coordinator as their permanent head coach out of nowhere.
I mean, is that to get them through the playoffs or?
No, it's permanent though.
Oh, permanent?
It's not interim. No interim tag. He is their permanent head coach.
Well, when you look at what else is out there, maybe it's one of the things that I don't know. I mean, we ain't had time to even think about that part of it yet, but I'm just looking at what was left. What was left out of all the openings? I mean, would you have gone after a Kane Womack? I mean, I don't know. I mean, does he stay? Alabama turns around and they win the SEC championship next year, or next week, which I think they will. They're in the college football playoff. When we get to the second segment, we started early today because, we know we are going to run late today on our show. But when we get into it, I mean, that's another thing we can touch more on Thursday as well, is this college football playoff. We're talking about 4 teams in the SEC. They're going to be fighting over 5 to 6 getting in. And, now with Texas and Vandy and OU, you have teams that have a legitimate shot with 2 wins. What if Alabama wins the SEC championship? Does that cost somebody a spot? So much going on in the world of college football. But with this hire, there was just so much at stake. There was so much. You had hope that, okay, after 15 years of suffering, finally Arkansas was going to invest in the football program. I was told, and this is another rumor, that Hunter Yurachek had nothing to do with this hire. So where'd that go?
Yeah.
I mean, so if Hunter had nothing to do with it, do we put this on the board of trustees? Do we put this on boosters? This has got to fall at somebody's feet.
Well, there's been so much, I feel like, that's just been put out there that maybe it was true at one point in time and then things changed. Early on, it was Hunter Yurachek was not going to have a say in this. And then after the James Franklin thing didn't happen, it was like, okay, this is now Hunter's. And then if it doesn't go right, that's his nail in the coffin. I feel like that what is being put out there just kind of changes on the daily. And I'm not saying it all is or isn't true, but I just feel like everybody is just scrambling and has been scrambling for the past several weeks, that they get a little nugget of information and it spirals.
Yeah.
I mean, we joke on HQ Live that, let me see if I've got it pulled up here. I think I do. That, where is it? Oh, yeah. Misinformation season has arrived, because that's wholeheartedly what it's been like. So it's tough. Who knows? And honestly, hey, maybe we should invite Hunter Yurachek on the show.
We've had him on before. I mean, we were underneath much better terms, during the, it was right when NIL happened, before he really came out and stated his stance on it. We had him on to talk about that. But answer this question. Is there no one that knows Arkansas culture inside the athletic department outside of Matt Zimmerman? No, because they fired him. I mean, Kevin Trainor was it, and they let him go. So no, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who. I mean, if you want to go football department, I mean, yeah, you want to lean on your SIDs but watching Trey Biddy's walk and talk and just how frustrated he was for him to let go and just finally just let it all out. I think that's the thing, is like, you're so ready for this season to be over, and you're like, okay, I can't wait to see what's next. And for it to be this, you're just like defeated, deflated, all those, because there is no promise in this hire. There's no hope in this hire unless we're all fooled. And hey, the way we were fooled on this hire, you never know. We might be coming back saying, hey, this guy's got a good team. But you're having to rebuild a whole staff and a whole team. How many players are going to, like, they showed a picture of him talking to the team today. How many of them people are even going to be here in 2 weeks?
I mean, I just wonder too, like, what's he saying to them? Like, hey guys, I'm the coach that beat you earlier this year. Like, I was just looking through the whole football staff directory just to see if there's any names that stand out. You know,
The Terry Prentice guy, he's at Mississippi State now. But you look at the athletic department and people that's been there. There's nobody on the top of my head that outside of the sports reporters. There isn't anybody. I mean, it's sad that, you know, who's okay. So now if Hunter does leave, if there is such a, I guess you'd say if there's a bidding war on who's going to come in and be the new athletic director, if the board of trustees and the boosters are at wits end because they didn't get their way, is somebody going to come in and fix this? Or are we stuck with Hunter Yurchek?
I think he's gone at some point in time. Unless they're just truly all, I mean, ultimately, because his contract's up in a year or two. If he's not gone before then or by then everybody, board of trustees, chancellor, everybody has just told you that all they're worried about is the bottom line, that they don't give two dams about anything else than the bottom line and making money.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we'll just kind of, again, I know the hire was lackluster and, you know, everything, but you do have to look and see what Silverfield did at Memphis. And I know it's Memphis, but when you're looking at how Arkansas done, and you're looking at a guy who beat you, and that's one that previous mentioned guy was talking about Roberts beating women's basketball, and you hired their coach to coach your women's basketball team, and now Memphis beats you at football and you hire their coach. I mean, he's only had 1 6-win season. Other than that, I mean, you go back to 2020, 8-3, then they were 6-6 in 21, 7-6, 10-3, 11-2, and 8-4. And he's won every one of his bowl games. So, but again, team like Memphis going into these bowl games, I mean, be auditions. I don't take into account really as much bowl wins anymore. They don't mean the same if it's not in the college football playoff. But he is 74-50 overall. That's as of today. I think that some said 75-50, but 74-50 overall and 4-0 in the bowl game. So at least he's got winning on his side. And there is a lot of people that are on the outside that they like the hire. So it's one of those things that we are in our emotions. I think a lot of it is because of what you said. The whole fact that what we thought, what we got, it doesn't meet our expectations. But then again, how much of us do we really know about Alex Golish last week before his name popped up? If they wouldn't have said Alex Golish's name on Wednesday and they ran with Silverfield, because you brought up a great point, how many people were calling for Silverfield to get the job 10 weeks ago or 11 weeks ago? So how many people have now put that in our pocket and forgetting, man, he beat Arkansas. Maybe he should be the head coach.
Because I went back and, just in Hog HQ after that Memphis Arkansas game, I went back and there's a lot of comments and a lot of posts pro Ryan Silverfield. And I get it. People are mad and frustrated because we had just lost to Memphis. But, here we are that many weeks later and people are up in arms over it. So, and apparently this just goes for you because your name's on it. You need to talk more positive.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
Segment 2 needs to be sunshine and rainbows.
I think as they posted that, I felt the aura because I quickly turned it I think I felt it.
Right.
But Jennifer, as a Memphis fan, y'all did, and I'm seeing a lot of this too. People, but I mean, I put it out there with a question mark, but you think it's bad here, go to Ole Miss right now. I mean, and watch Lane get on that plane and all that stuff. I mean, it's there, and they have every right to be furious about the situation, because I think it was the radio show brought it up. What if Lane had come here when he did, and Arkansas is on the cusp of making the college football playoff, and he bolts for LSU? What would Arkansas fans be doing right now?
Flipping out, and rightfully so. I mean, and honestly, I think you're going to have a lot of people, maybe outside of the SEC, maybe outside of Arkansas, but I think you're going to have a lot of people pulling for Ole Miss in the college football playoff just to stick it to Lane Kiffin.
Yeah,
because it would be hilarious if Ole Miss were to win a national title and Lane Kiffin wasn't there for it. So,
that'd be hilarious. Yeah,
I'd love it.
But that's the irony of sports, and we're all hypocrites in some way, because it's like, we're laughing and making fun of Kiffin, and we're calling, his own fan base can't turn a hoe into a housewife, and we're all the. But if he was to do that and then come to Arkansas, we welcome with open arms. I mean, who wouldn't? It's just the thing that this is where college football is. Expect the unexpected, and nothing will surprise you, and trust no one until it is out that this is a done deal. And that's just how you have to handle everything now. If we're not on the inside, we just got to run with what we are told, go with it, and then adjust when things change, because we know it's going to change, and go from there.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those that, like we said, the sadness or defeatedness is nothing towards Ryan Silverfield. And guess what? Here in a few weeks, or when he starts making his hires, or when he starts flipping a couple of commitments or in-state commitments, or whatever the case may be, it's going to be a different tune for a lot of folks, us probably included. Hang on, I'm just going to see. Okay, so we got somebody in their feels right here. So thank you for also thank you for helping our algorithm by commenting and watching and whatever.
Yes.
So let's see. Sean McVay, Ryan Day, Andy Reid, Nick Saban. You all think that U of A could just snap their fingers and people like this would come running? Guess what? Yeah. I mean, I've never once thought that any of those coaches would come here.
But I guarantee if you'd offered any of them coaches $8 million, they'd have came here. I mean, you got what you paid for. I'm sorry. And I hope he does come in. And like I said previously, let us have this one episode where we're you know what I'm saying? Like, give it to the time to, because everybody's pissed. We're not the only ones that are ranting and raving. Everybody. I mean, you had people show up at the Jerry Jones Center or whatever, and so it is what it is, and we'll figure this out. But we've also said we want what's best for the program. We want Arkansas to do well. We hope Ryan Silverfield comes in and changes this program. And guess what? I hope they're using this fuel. I hope they're putting what us and everybody else is saying on the bulletin board to give them motivation to win, because you're going to need it. You've got a guy come in. He's only been at one school. Did he build Memphis, or did he take what Norvell built? This is going to be a test. We're going to see real quick, because you've got an SEC schedule that you have 9 games on, and you have 3 years to get this thing out of the ditch.
I mean, honestly, I think 3 years should be it for any coach. If you can't have some sort of success within 3 years in this day and age with NIL and the transfer portal. And yes, I know somebody say, well, Arkansas didn't have NIL. I get that. You've got to find it. You've got to put it up.
Yeah.
So if you can't turn things around in 3 years, I feel like you've got to move on.
Oh, well, and the thing is, there's a lot of people that are saying, I mean, great hire. There is people that are behind this. And again, I hope we are proven wrong because we want somebody to come in. And, I'll go back to my school. When Dabo was hired, we didn't know who the hell he was. And you know what? I looked up. Do you remember, and we can ask somebody in the comments before I reveal it, and I want to fact check just before I do. Do you know what Houston Nutt's record was at Boise State before he come to Arkansas?
You know how old I was?
Hold on, let me look it up real quick.
Head coaching record.
And if you see it, don't say it. I want to see if anybody can state
I've got it right here.
Houston Nutt's record was before he was hired at the University of Arkansas.
He only coached 1 year at Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have his record right in front of me.
And I didn't realize that
he was only there for 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, his record. I thought
yeah.
he was like this up and coming coach, and yeah, right there, 4-7 at Boise State. So
I was 10 years old.
If you want that silver lining, I know we're in a different world, but if you want to go with that, yes, Houston Nutt played for Arkansas. He had that connection. He was 4-7 at Boise State, and he came in and took this program to where he did. Now, y'all can sit there and talk about the ending all y'all want. We all know how everything ended, but he did bring a lot of good to the program. So can Silverfield come in right across the river? So yes, you're at Memphis, but you're familiar with Arkansas. You're familiar with what the SEC is. Can you use that and be like, all right, can we come in and change this? But I do give him credit for coming in and saying, I'm going to get some in-state kids. And if he does, this is what we won't take is everybody was talking about get the top kids, get the top kids, get the top kids. If he starts coming in and getting these top kids, don't sit there and start bashing it. Because that's what a big complaint is nobody was going after the top kids in Arkansas. And I will say this, you need to go get Kane Archer. I'm sorry. I watched the kid play. I've watched his film. I'm not saying that he's going to come in and be the starter next year. I'm saying get him on campus. Watching how he sees the field, reads the field. You got Diego Pavia at 6 foot probably going to New York for the Heisman campaign. You get that kid at Arkansas and you give him what he wants, and that's to be a Razorback. Grant Morgan, Drew Morgan, Connor Nolan. Look at all these people that were at Greenwood come to Arkansas and did well. I'm not saying come in and be an All-American, but you get him on the campus, and in a couple of years, he's going to do well. I've just seen him play against the top talent in the state, and I don't think he's ever lost a game.
Well, I agree with this right here that I think that Silverfield's biggest mistakes and accomplishments are going to be what staff he hires. Yeah. And there was another comment, I think Derek Simpkins further up. You're about to see a bunch of changes, not obviously with the head coaches we're seeing, but with coordinators also. Go spend $2 million on an OC-DC, especially defensive coordinator. I think you have to do it in this day and age. Yes. You need to go pay for your coordinators and stop hoping to strike lightning in a bottle. Go pay for one that's proven.
Yes, exactly. You need to, because we've listed off the people that are at these other power four positions that are head coaches. They have defensive coordinator minded, and you go get a top-notch defensive coordinator, you have a chance. You got to have the defense, because if you're going off what he did at Memphis, you're giving up too many yards on the ground. And before we go to a quick break, before anything, we've proven this year that you can have a Corvette offense and a Pinto defense, and you see what that gets you 2-10.
Let's just forget about this year.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. That's
yeah. Moving on.
What we're going to do, we are going to take a quick commercial break. And during the break, hey, go download the podcast, go like, subscribe, download our podcast. Goes a long way to help support us here at the Hog Talk and Hog HQ. When we come back from the break, we're going to pivot. We're going to, squash this. We'll bring everything back up on Thursday, but we're going to talk Arkansas Duke and the glaze of Cam Boozer when we come back from a break. Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials is sure to have everything you need, whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck. Plus, our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together. Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University, we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community. And to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive. And I want to welcome you back to the Hog Talk podcast. And we'll pivot to basketball news because, we've really done the Razorback basketball team a disservice with talking about all this craziness. But I think we need a mental break from football news and switch over because Arkansas played a big game on Thanksgiving night, played Duke. And I don't know what was worse, listening to an Alabama football game on CBS or listening to them talk over and over and over. I really thought Dick Vitale was calling the game. It was so bad listening to that game on Thursday night.
I mean, it was the same thing last season with Cooper Flag. So when you've got the potential number one pick and he goes to Duke, that's how it's going to be. So it's one of those things that I didn't, in my heart of hearts, did I think Arkansas was going to win? No, didn't. Did I think they could win? Yes. I thought, honestly, I think it was the first half. Arkansas was up either like 7 or 10 or something right around there. They had their swagger going, had their confidence going. I mean, the score was in the 20s. I thought that was it. And then the next thing I know, Duke's up 10. And it was just out of reach for Arkansas. So Arkansas, obviously, there's still issues. They still haven't fully gelled and clicked. And I mean, I know it's going to eventually get there. Duke is just, way ahead of a lot of other schools. But then who was it? I forget who was it the other day. One school beat somebody like by 40 points. It was a ranked game. Let me see which one that was. I wish I had that pulled up beforehand. But no,
Yeah,
Cam Boozer to me is still, going to be potentially the number one draft pick in the NBA draft this year.
yeah, absolutely. It's the thing that you're watching him. He is a legit player, and probably will be the number one. But when you allow the guy to, from the 3-point line or from the free throw line, body his way in, hook, extend the arm, push off, extend out, and then set, and then go up, you are going to get a foul called every time. And that's what he did. And I have never sat there and watched a game and I'm like, in football, we've sat there and talked about, refs, this and that. But this was a game where I looked and they were letting him do whatever he wanted to. Pringle did amazing on him starting out. They never let Arkansas get in a defensive rhythm. They never let somebody come down there and really try to shut him down. They let him do everything he wanted, and then he gets to go up, gets an and one, or gets a foul call when he is extending his arm. I understand you can sit there and use your elbow, but when you're wrapping your arm around or you're extending your arm, there was a picture where he had his hand all the way out on our defender. You can't do that in a game of basketball. And then in the second half, there was one point Arkansas was up 7-8 points. And then he comes off, goes down low, gets and ones or hits threes, and he scores 15 points before you knew it. Brazil tried to do his best in the second half. This is one of those games that I don't put any blame on Arkansas in this game. They tried their best. Now, the only thing I will say that, the one time where that guy got 3 different rebounds and his third attempt at the three, he hit the big, clutch three. But the way they were able to play defense physically and Arkansas couldn't, you're not going to win a game like that. You're not. And then change the momentum the way that Duke was able to capitalize on that. It's a game of runs. And that's how it is in basketball. And you can't allow that. There was nothing. You can't tell me a guy like Cam Boozer goes all the way to the fourth quarter or the late in the second half without getting a foul called in, his first foul. It was just all around you. It was, to me, a piss poor job on the refs, and at least give them a chance. And then if Duke does win, you can kind of be happy about it or accept the loss, but it's hard to accept a loss that when you were in it or you were up, they let Duke back in the game.
I'm just sitting here going through. I mean, look at the stats. Duke shot 49%, Arkansas 41%. 3-pointers, I mean, Duke was 8 of 23, Arkansas 10 of 30. Free throws, Duke was 14.
Look at Boozer's free throws compared to Arkansas's free throws.
I mean, Boozer was 7 of 11 from the free throw line. Arkansas was 9 of 11. Mm-hmm. But then I also look at, points in the paint. Duke had 42, Arkansas had 28.
How many threes did Boozer have?
How many threes?
Threes, yeah. So he made 2 threes. So if you really take probably 6 of he scored 35. So he had 29 probably points in the paint of their 4. I mean, their production was him.
Yeah. I mean, he had 6 points from the 3 set. So you take away 13 points. He had 22 points in could have been jump shots, but more than likely probably the paint.
Yeah. So. But no, I get what you're saying. I get your side of it. And I know there was things that Arkansas could do, but it seemed like every time they would put somebody down there on him, there was a foul or, you were giving that extra rebound. Let's see the rebounds, 37, 29. So, I mean, 8 out rebounded you by 8. Offensive boards, 12, 10. So, I mean, there's nothing glaring. Turnovers, 12, 12. I mean,
and I mean, you bringing up the foul thing. I mean, Nick Pringle 5, Brazil 2, Ewan 3. So, I mean, your bigs essentially had 10 fouls between the 3 of them.
Let's see. So
which is a lot. And Boozer ended up with 2. So, I mean, Arkansas didn't have a good – I mean, we said that Arkansas was going to have to throw and rotate all of our bigs on them.
Yeah.
It's, but then let's see too on Arkansas. I'm just looking. I haven't looked at the overall stats. So Pringle 3 points, Trevin 11 points, Acuff 21 points. But then you only had 2 points from Carter Knox, 3 points from DJ Wagner, Billy Richmond 11, Malik Thomas 13. This is another game kind of like we talked about. What game was it? One of the last Arkansas games that Acuff was the only one, or no, Malik Thomas was the only one that showed up.
Was it the Michigan State game?
Yeah, or no, it was sooner than that, I thought. Anyway, but it was what game did we struggle in that we almost lost, but we didn't?
Liberty.
Winthrop.
Yeah, sorry.
This is another game that this is what happens when only one of those guys shows up. Before it was Malik Thomas, and then this one it was Acuff. So there's games that we're seeing this happen that one of these 2 or 3 guys, they basically just disappear, and we don't know what to do.
And here, Darius, 21 points. Malik had 13. Look, if you have 2 guys, you have those 2 guys out there. You have Acuff and Malik, and I think we're going to see that transition once they get more games. I am okay with DJ Wagner not shooting the ball. If you have this high power offense, say you go DJ, Acuff, Malik, Carter, Brazil, and then or even bring in Pringle in there, depending on the matchup. I'm okay with him not shooting the ball. There's a lot of people getting on DJ Wagner. You need, in this type of offense, what we've always lacked and what you're lacking in college basketball now, you're lacking the true point guard. Let him handle the ball and run the offense. He don't have to give you 15 to 20 a night. If you know he is a slasher and a scorer, layups and jumpers, let him do his thing. Let him control that, because then you can move the ball to where Malik can get a shot. Acuff can get the shot. You're not having Malik or Darius handle the ball. You've got 4 other guys that if they can get you 15 to 20 a game, you can let him be the floor general. And I think that's what he is. I'm not saying that, well, he's not. He is a good point guard, but you got to let him be a point guard. You have to kind of go back to that old school, what Cal is known for in that point guard. Rajon Rondo, Booker, all of his guys that were point guards. You have the offense now. And I just think he gets an unfair criticism because he's not going out and scoring 15 to 20 games. Now, he can give you 20 points here and there, but he's not that scorer. And I think that's what we need to get to, that, JD Notae, the point guards in the past that really could just be floor generals and get the guy open who is going to get you those buckets. Because if you got, let's look at their stats again, but it also counts. So if Carter Knox can step it up, like we know he's kind of missing, you get him comfortable in his role. Now you're going to have Thomas and Acuff doing their thing. Richmond gave you 11. Brazil gave you 11. We had 17 assists for the game. We're sharing the ball. They're moving the ball around. And if they are doing more of that, I say let DJ just run the point and do his thing and get these other guys the ball.
I don't think that's something that we talked about, I believe, after the Michigan State game, was letting DJ run this, run the offense. Let Acuff beat the 2 in that situation, because there was just multiple times in that Michigan State, and every game it could be different. But we saw in that Michigan State game that there was times like DJ Wagner needed the ball in his hands just to set everything up and run everything. And it's no shot at Darius Acuff. It was just, this is what, Wagner's his 3rd year, 4th, whatever he is. And the time will come for Darius Acuff to lead this team and to run this team. I just think that there's some uncertainty between the players on what their roles are.
Yeah, and there will be. That always happens. And look, you're sitting, and through the schedule you've played already, you're still sitting. You're at 5-2. You lost Michigan State and Duke. Okay, yeah, I would much rather lose those games in November than lose these tough games when you're talking about going down the stretch in February when you're on the road at Alabama in February, or you're on the road at Florida at the end of February. You're on the road at March at Missouri. Cal, I have a feeling with this team that we're going to look back on this schedule and we're going to be thankful that he did this the way he did. I think this is going to come back to truly help them come March. SEC tournament, we know, I mean, they could still do all this and then win 1 or 2 games just for, to get their legs, to keep them in a rhythm. But I'm talking about I'm not saying this is going to be a 3-seed or a 4-seed, but what I'm getting at is this team is going to click and it's going to gel. You got Louisville coming up on Wednesday, Fresno State on Saturday, Texas Tech, Queens, Houston, James. So there's a game in between. And we're going to look back on this schedule and we're going to look back and be like, man, I think he knew exactly what he was doing. You're giving this team enough challenge to keep them on their toes, but you're giving them a break at the same time, because when you look at this SEC schedule, you start off at home against Tennessee, and then you got Ole Miss and at Auburn on the road the next 2 games. Mm-hmm. So I think 5 games left until you start SEC play. Louisville, Fresno State, Texas Tech, Queens, Houston. No, 6. 6 games. Plenty of time.
Oh, and I think that's 100% what he did for this season was we've got to click before SEC. We don't need to start out 0-5 in the SEC again. So, I mean, it's tough. You want to win all these games. You want to knock off a Duke. You want to, beat Michigan State. The game I was talking about earlier was Michigan beating Gonzaga by 40 points.
Yeah.
5. So it's the teams out there are good. I think Michigan State is better than people give them credit for.
Michigan State's dogs. I mean, that's the thing. They got dogs on their team. And I've seen Darius Acuff had that look in his eye. When we're talking about once he gets clicking and once he gets going, mm-hmm. and we're talking about him in February as he's not a freshman anymore. I mean, he had a poor shooting night and still scored 21. I mean, 8 of 17, but he shot 50% from the 3-point line. He is going, I mean, that's going to be the scary thing about this team is when Malik and Acuff take the training wheels off of being in college and they go. That's why I'm saying it's important to have DJ Wagner run the point and be a point, because there's going to be a time where you are not going to be able to keep Malik Thomas and Acuff off that floor. You're not going to be able to control them. You're going to have somebody give them the ball and feed them, and also calm them down when things get, out of hand. If they're missing 2 or 3 shots and say Tennessee or Florida goes on an 8-0 run, you need that general that's going to be on the floor. But like, hey, young fella, we got you. Let's take a breather. Let's reset and let's get back in this game.
And if I could plead with anybody too, it's, Wednesday night, 6:15 on ESPN, you have number 6 Louisville coming to Bud Walton Arena. Everybody show up, please. Mm-hmm. They need a huge crowd for this game. It's the number 6 team in the country. So if you're not going to go, I mean, find somebody to take your tickets, but they need the actual attendance to be 19,200, not just be what they post, after the game for the attendance.
Pack the Palace right here. If you can't call the Hogs, let someone else. Transfer your tickets to a friend, family member. Sell your tickets on SeatGeek. Donate your tickets to the Hog Ticks at uark.edu, and they'll give them. Yes, that we need to pack the Palace. We need to rally. I know we're down, we're out, we're licking our wounds from football season. We're not too excited about what happened with the coaching hire. We haven't won our 2 big games that we've played, but it's time to fully now shift. It's time to fully now accept football's over with. We got our coach. Let's see what he can do. We've been proven wrong before. We could be coming back in a year and be like, man, we really, we did Silverfield a disservice by talking so much hate on him. Now, do we expect them to reel off 8-9 wins next year? No, but if they can come in and show progress and get this team to where, hey, I will accept that this team, year one with a new team, new coach, new everything, and we're fighting Missouri for being bowl eligible. I mean, I think that's understandable. I think you have to start now where you're really at. You're at the bottom of the SEC, new everything. You can't expect 7-8 wins. Now, if that happens, that's a bonus. If that happens, that is awesome.
I look at it like this, football season's done. Just think back to your college days. It's puke and rally time.
Yep.
So look forward to the rest of basketball season, 7 games in. I think there's 31 games on the schedule. There's still a long time to go. So just shift gears slightly and get back in, pack Bud Walton Arena, especially show these new kids, Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas, Isaiah Sealy. That's one thing too. Isaiah Sealy being from the area, like he knows how loud Bud Walton Arena can get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things. I think out of everybody, he would be more excited to actually be a part of it in uniform with a packed out Bud Walton Arena.
Well, think about this. Think about when they come to visit Arkansas on their recruiting trip. If they come to a big game, a Kentucky game, or they came to the big games, and they're like, what was this when we came to see this place? I came here for the environment, and I've yet to see the environment. Let's change that. Okay, look, guys, we're excited to see y'all. We're going to make this happen. And because, that's the big thing is people come to campus, you schmooze them, you say, this is what you can have on any given night. And then you're getting 5, 6, 7,000 to watch you play. So yeah, there's also that.
It is what it is. It's done well today. So y'all get your shirts before they get pulled down.
Black Friday sale, $20. Yes, get it back before they get taken down. Yes.
So mine shipped. I ordered mine, I think Friday, and mine shipped today. So we'll see what it's like whenever they get here. And then we also added another shirt today. I'll show right quick before we hop off here. Because, there's the shirt going around that was we almost always almost win, or whatever that saying is. And so I had somebody message me and say, hey, we should do this. We almost always almost get the coach.
Hey, and it's $1 cheaper, $19, flash sale, Black Friday sale.
So
be public.
It's just one of those things that would get bored sometimes. So why not?
Well, if you really watch the end of Trey Biddy's walk and talk,
mm-hmm.
He was in the parking garage and he panned over to the stadium and he said, this is a symbol of mediocrity. And for him to say that shows you where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should send him a shirt for saying that. I mean, maybe it leads to, mediocrity, deal with it,
live it, love it, deal with it.
There we go. Adam, you got anything else?
Come back at 8:05 for Hog HQ Live.
Yes. I want to thank everybody for tuning in though tonight. I know us coming on at night, I'm sure this whole past week has been a whirlwind of emotions. Let's not, about, are we going to get this guy? Holidays. You thought it was going to be a coach and then it wasn't who you wanted. But when we really take a step back, let's embrace this and let's try to hope for a new beginning. Maybe he is able to come in and get a kick-ass coordinators. Maybe he is to come in and flip those in-state kids to come here. Maybe he's able to come in and really, if they are able to get the NIL backing that we hope for, maybe the raffle starts doing well. Maybe all these things just change. Let's hope for the best and see where this thing goes. But Wednesday night, we need you inside Bud Walton Arena.
Gotcha. Hey, they did start they are starting the raffle tomorrow.
Okay.
For basketball season.
All right. There you go. See, they're ready to go.
But they still have football as the background.
That's all right. Hey, I mean,
one thing at a time.
One thing at a time, baby steps.
Yeah.
For Adam Hall, I'm Jorge Hayes. Again, before we end the show, before you clock out, hey, go like, share, download our podcast. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're really trying to take this thing off. Adam, like me and Adam were talking, we're really wanting to advance, probably going into more SEC coverage and stuff with 2 shows, Hog Talk, Hog HQ. We're wanting to bring you all the content we can and you going and downloading the podcast, subscribing to our channels, watching, tuning in, commenting, everything helps out. We appreciate everybody, positive, negative. Hey, we're here for it all. So Radham Hall, I'm Porter Hayes. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Come back at 8:05 for Hog HQ Live, and we will catch you on Thursday.